maybe you've got some questions. I'm happy to take those now. Wow. Okay, well, thank you. Approach is one which I'm going to be really biased to, so I'm going to leave that for the moment. But in terms of how the information is presented on your site, do you have vintage as a separate field? Right, okay. So the problem might be in how your underlying data is stored. If your data is stored with the vintage and the title all together, then essentially what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to map that out as a separate attribute. So that requires generally a bit of work, obviously. Some manual work, but it's completely possible to do. Again, because your IT department aren't necessarily used to doing that kind of thing, they might not be in the best position to deliver that for you. It might be something that Webgains can help you with. It's certainly something that a feed specialist would be able to help you with. Dare I say it? But yeah, and you raised a really important point, and that is, the more granular you can get your information, the much better it is for affiliates and for CSEs and for PPC affiliates in particular. If you think about PPC, what they want to be able to do is they want to be able to take lots of little pieces and then put it all back together to make a Google ad, let's say. So yeah, get your feed into as segmented a format as possible. So a good way to deal with it in travel is what we actually do is we segment the information. So you'll have information which is theoretically static, i.e. the image of a hotel. It's not going to change. The description of a hotel is not going to change, the facilities and so on. So what you can do is you can actually build a feed which is made of two components. One which is all the kind of static information, and then you can use your API to actually generate what we call the availability updates, and that's literally the price and whether it's available or not for the individual hotels. So you can put those two pieces together, but are actually coming from two different places. The important thing, of course, with the feed is to make sure it's being updated regularly. So you can do that because you've got the API. Yeah. How many different items are you selling? 80,000. Yeah, so that should be quite manageable. I mean, we're dealing with this process with clients who've got 1.5 million items a day. The important thing to do there as well, with 80,000, it's not too bad, is to think about what you actually want to put out to market as well. That's another good point. You don't need to send everything out in your product feed. Right. So then you can focus more efficiently on the updates of that information in particular, rather than trying to update all 80,000 every few hours or every half day.
When you talk about updates, is there a way to automate it so that it's all linked in with your system anyway? It wouldn't be a manual task, surely.
It's not a manual task, no. This should always be built in as a automated process. For retail, generally recommended once a day. Depending though, some retailers want more frequent updates depending on fluidity of pricing and stock. With travel, you're striving to get live. But again, once a day is kind of the minimum. Okay.
Do you create the feeds on behalf of merchants? How challenging has it been for you retrieving the information, the various attributes, based on how their databases are constructed?
Well, we don't have that problem at FeesPump because we consume the data directly from the website.
Yep.
So we actually build the feeds from all the information on the web. The problem that clients do have often when they're trying to build feeds is they'll have data in different databases, and trying to bring all that together in the same way it's represented on the website can present a challenge. The other challenge is websites have become much more sophisticated. So between the databases, you have quite a lot of business logic sometimes, things like discount information, maybe it's promotional text being brought in from somewhere else, any kind of rules-based information before it goes on the website. So I think it's become quite complex to re-represent exactly what's on the website from disparate database systems. But as I say, that's not a problem that we face. The only issue, I guess, that we face is the market's obviously moving on quite a lot in terms of the requirements they have. Things like EAN numbers are becoming much more important now in the UK, mostly driven by Google, to be fair. So often it's about merchants making sure that information is being put into their merchandising platforms so that it becomes available to your marketing team. So we've got one more there.
You're saying you don't go into the content managed, or you trawl the site like there's a company called MyDeco who do the same kind of thing. So we wouldn't need to connect to you at all with our back end.
No. No. So what I guess it's my little chance for a plug, isn't it? But one of the benefits of the fuse pump approach is literally you can stay sat there and I could build a feed for you. You don't have to get involved. I'll deliver it because there's no technical integration required. Okay.
Do you find that you need to alter the data that you retrieve from the merchants' websites to gear them up towards affiliates? That you need to manipulate maybe the descriptions?
Yeah, well, good example with wine, something like that. So a lot of clients might have things like brand in the title, or they may have either poor descriptions or descriptions which are built up of lots of bullet points. And so often what we have to do is we have to manipulate that. We have to do transformations to make sure, again, that it's segmented as individual attributes. So yeah, there's usually, every case is different. That's the point. Every case is different. So there's often some business logic or some mapping to be done. Hopefully in October, they're going to the next Affiliate Council general meeting, which is in October, isn't it?
Yeah, the 24th, I think.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll be ratified or signed off then, and then they'll be out for release on the website and with some PR as well, hopefully. So you'll be able to get access to them.
Have you got a frugal feed? Is it not just a case of recreating that for a product feed to be on?
I'm really glad someone's asked that question. No. If you've got a Google feed or a Google Merchant Center feed, a frugal feed, there's lots of different names they've used over the years. That's great because there's certain attributes that Google want, but you've probably got richer information available about your products. Affiliates will actually want all of that information. All the different comparison shopping engines will have their own versions of feed schemas, so they want the data provided in a certain way. You can just send people your Google feed and be done with it. You won't get the best results.
I've run into some issues with child products and parent products. We sell art, and I want to be able to offer art in a variety of different frames, for example. Best way to do it is to have child products.
Yeah.
I bring a child product in the back end, but I can't assign it a category. Webgains say that there's an issue. If there's no category, they can't have it as a product feed.
Yeah,
What would
so
your advice be there?
you're producing your feed in XML, obviously.
Yeah.
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 So your children products just need to be variants of your parent product. Yeah. So you've got a parent group, so with some attributes. Yeah. And then everything else is just a different size or a different color or something like that.
Essentially,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Webgains platform can cope with nested variants.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we do.
Yeah. So
But we do need a category.
yeah, but category would be in the parent though.
Yes.
So
I've
you
got the parent category, but they're saying that there's an issue within child products. So I think I need to speak to you guys about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
yeah.
We can have a look.
Maybe what we'll do, get you a copy of the feed guidelines early because it shows how to correctly nest variants. Might help. Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Just give you a bit of background on the Webgains data feed system. As Lee mentioned, we are very particular with our data feeds. We do insist before launching a program that we have a data feed and a quality data feed, for that matter, before launching. One of the reasons is a program at its infancy has to give the best possible opportunity for it to work right from day one. So launching a program, it's obviously a very big PR opportunity to get the name out there, generate a lot of interest. So if we don't have a feed, that interest is soon going to wear off from affiliates. Data feeds is what brings in the sales, especially in retail. This is the most important tool. You can forget about banners, you can forget about nice little descriptions here and there and text links. It is the data feed that is the single most important thing. The quality of that data feed is what is going to define the volume of your sales. So the better the quality of the data feed, the better your chances of good performance right from the start. That's why we're very particular. It's not that we're trying to be difficult, but we do know we have a lot of experience, many years of experience, and data feeds is what is going to drive the sales for your program. We have sector-based data feeds. So we don't just have one generic spec that we apply to everything. We have different requirements for fashion, different ones for mobile phones, very different ones for home and garden, gifts and gadgets. The attributes there are drilling down. So for fashion, for instance, we have sizes, colors, gender information. For mobile phones, we have the make, the model, the manufacturer, etc. So these are all very different things. We do recommend that everyone uses them. We can't get them all the time, but it is becoming apparent to merchants who provide a basic feed. Affiliates go back to them and say, can you provide X, Y, Z fields? And then they have to upgrade. One of the challenges we are faced with is that we either usually receive a data feed that a merchant already has, say for Google products or from Kelku. We can use them, but we have found that it's always much better if you create a standalone feed for your affiliate, geared up specifically for your affiliate program. If that's a big issue, then we can use whatever you have while you're working on creating a new one. The other very important thing, as Lee mentioned, is to make sure that it's updated. Now, how many of you with feeds have it automated to be updated on a daily basis? Okay. And of those who with automated feeds, how many are actually automated, where it doesn't have to be someone pushing for the data to be updated or putting it on an FTP? How many are actually automated? Okay. It's another very frequent thing. People, merchants give us a URL where the feed is, but that's a static file. It doesn't get updated. We grab it every day, but we just grab the same data again and again. Now, your prices change on a daily basis. Your products go in and out of stock. Descriptions can be changed throughout the week. We need to have this information. So we need this daily update. Ideally daily, weekly will suffice on certain occasions. For travel, multiple times a day. For electronics programs, where prices do fluctuate throughout the day, we need even further updates during the day. So keep that in mind. The data feeds have to live and breathe. They can't just be sitting there. Okay, thank you.